Sadie, Ruby needs all the help she got. Raising a child alone is not an easy thing to do. She had no one else in Silverfang. I'm the only alpha acquaintance she had left who'd be willing to give her protection. Dawson said in somber tone. I know it's hard for betas to understand. They don't have this kind of thing between alphas and omegas. But, don't you see? I'm doing this because I have to. He then concluded with emphasis, this kind of things are expected from any influential alphas. I took a deeper breath, careful not to make it obvious. My nerves got ticked as I felt like he treated me like a very dumb person, never knowing how the world works. It felt like Dawson had unfairly defended Ruby once more from confrontation I didn't even initiate. Besides, did he forgot I was still his wife or what? In Silverfang, he was the only one I got to. Of course it's hard to raise a child alone, I tried to calmly answer. It's hard for anyone, Ruby included. What? Are you trying to say that Ruby just have to suck it all up because everyone raising a child alone is having it hard too? Dawson suddenly raised his tone. That's not what I'm saying, at all. I interjected, trying to defend myself. I don't like your tone, Sadie. Do you have to say it like that? He said with a warning tone, the kind of tone he used to demand obedience? Heh. Then how should I say it then? I lost control, frustration had get the better of me. I'm trying to show my sympathy to her, Dawson. Is that a problem? Silence fell between us, but it was Dawson who broke the ice in the end. Fine, do whatever you want. What on the actual earth? He was mad at me for asking where he wanted to go with Ruby. So I compensated by asking when he'd be back from Ruby's place instead. And this man got mad at me, again. I tossed my phone as carefully as I could into my purse. Really, just hearing his voice now made me frustrated. How did I deal with him all this time? With a sigh, I stood up from my desk. I looked at the document piles that had been sitting there, waiting for me to finish the simple talk with Dawson. I took my water bottle and walked to the drinking station at the room's corner. The night was still long. I better prepare for my training instead of getting irritated at Dawson like there was no tomorrow. I got home much later into the day. The hot sun was already up and there was no sign of Dawson's car at home. He was already gone for work. My last shift ended around 5 in the morning. Frankly, there wasn't much to do, so I helped my friends, who had came for the next shift, clean up some stuff. Oakley even teased me that he'd gladly gave his shift to me so that he could stay longer for his son's play performance in his school. It was a short exchange with my colleagues, but I was glad none of them make things as awkward as I have feared it would be. Because, really going home knowing that Dawson was there only to nag didn't feel appealing to me. I didn't do much at home afterwards. I took a shower, drank my prescribed medicine, and collapsed onto my bed. And right then, as if on cue, my phone vibrated to no end. I picked it up, and see that it was a call from Dawson. Sadie, he grunted as if in pain. Why didn't you pick up? My stomach hurts so bad. Call the emergency ward. I slurred as my mind was fogged with sleep. On one hand, I remember that I had got off from work, but I was really tired that I drifted into sleep. Sadie. Sadie. It felt like an eerie dream. Dawson had been calling my name from a place so very distant. But I was so tired I wished him to go away as I fell deeper into my sleep. Knock. 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 Bam. I jolted awake at the loud noise. Dawson had already stood by the bed looking displeased and pouting. Sadie, why are you acting like this lately? He raised his tone. You'd usually nag on me when I got sick, bringing medicine and porridge for me, but now you're just asleep. His voice cracked slightly. Don't you care anymore? What is wrong with you? What was wrong with me? He said. His words cut deep. I remembered those days all too well. There was a time when Dawson had a terrible stomachache. Concerned, I took leave from work to bring him medicine at his office. As fate would have it, I got caught in the rain on my way, arriving soaked and disheveled. Instead of appreciation, I was met with laughter from his colleagues, and Dawson did nothing to stop them. Worse yet, he turned to me and said, "Don't come to my office again. You're an embarrassment." Snapping back to the present, I rubbed my eyes as I tried to have control over my irritation for the lack of sleep. Well, you're here. So, are you feeling better now? I looked at him squarely. I'm not sure we had any medicine left though. Last time I checked was 2 weeks ago. Dawson's jaw tightened, his frustration boiling over. Sadie, are you going to keep acting like this because you're jealous of Ruby? Hey. Dawson shouted all of the sudden, I've told you 1,000 times, Ruby and I were just old-time friends. There's nothing between us. Oh, sure. I replied hesitantly. I didn't even understand how did he concluded my actions as a form of jealousy. I was lacking of sleep for great moon goddess sake. You need to stop this at once, Sadie. Dawson growled and grabbed my wrist up. I could see the change of colors and pupils in his eyes. I could faintly feel the intensity of his pheromone changes too, but I think the pheromone didn't work, as he wanted it to be. I simply stared at him, trying to pull my hand. Dawson, it hurts. Let me go. Ridiculous. He shouted, letting me go. This is why dealing with betas is a waste of time. I didn't say a thing to him. I knew that Dawson was baiting me, but I wouldn't fall for it. Rebellious betas, don't you feel ashamed for acting like strays? Strays, did he just call me strays? My mouth went agape. Calling someone strays was a serious insult, as it labeled werewolves as disloyal traitors, who had caused significant harm to the entire community. Really? If someone like me is considered disloyal, then what would you call someone as unfaithful as Dawson? An outcast. Yet, I held myself back. I closed my mouth shut, unwilling to entertain Dawson's unreasonable accusations. Soon, Dawson turned to leave. He slammed the door and stormed out. I heard a car engine sound downstairs before things got silent in this house. Damn that entitled alpha. Gosh, Sadie. Why did you pick someone like that? I let myself fell onto the bed, and curled up to my side. Eventually my frowns and my pout loosened. I could feel myself slowly smiling. For the first time in this house, I feel liberated knowing that Dawson leave the house.